kept going on, and I kept hearing all these thousands of rounds of gun shooting, automatic, single. And sometimes it was really close, sometimes it was far. It like moved from one area to another. That made me understand that it's not one class of terrorists. It's much more, because they're here and they're there and they're there and they're there, and they could be everywhere. Please come. We're burning. They're burning a house. We hear them. They're here. They're trying to break down my door. They're on the roof. They're shooting. Come, save us. The only thing I'm thinking of, let's get out of here. Let's be evacuated. Let's stay alive. Bullets all over the place.
In southern Israel, a few kilometres from the border of Gaza, is a kibbutz called Be'eri. About 1,200 people lived here. At least 108 are now dead. 10% of the community massacred. Galit Carbone was one of them. The 66-year-old Australian-born woman was a mother, grandmother, sister and aunt. Her brother Danny spoke with us, supported by daughter Mika and son Roe. He agreed to recount the horror that unfolded in his community of Be'eri on Saturday morning, October 7. In shocking detail, Danny relives the day minute by minute, hour by hour. The day that would change his life and Israel forever.
When did you know that there was something really wrong on Saturday?
About 7 o'clock. After I went on my bike ride, like every Saturday. And then started the rockets in the air. It was like fireworks, really. It started to go really louder and louder. And then there was, we don't have a siren back there. We have a code, Tseva Adom, red color, Tseva Adom, which means you gotta go into your safety rooms or whatever. There's attack.
Yeah.
And you have like
15 seconds. We don't have 15 seconds. We've got 10, but it says 15.
So you're so close to Gaza.
Yeah. I was just about to keep going. I thought, okay, before the red alert, I thought I'll keep going. Okay, it's going to end up in a second. And little I knew that at the gate of the kibbutz, the terrorists were about to reach there, and I was about 300-400 meters from there, and I returned because of the red alert, and I returned to my home. So that's, thank you God.
Thank God.
For one. And then 15 minutes after, I heard the shooting from my window. It was about 150, 200 meters from my house. And then at that moment, I knew something is wrong. It's about 7 o'clock, I think, yeah. Then 7:15, 7:30, I got into my safety room and locked the door, and I talked to you about what that meant to me to lock the door. Locking the iron door behind me, it meant crossing a red line that was never there before, for me at least. That means if I've got to lock myself into a safety room because there's shooting inside my house, something is wrong. And there and then I started to feel that something is really wrong and we won't be the same. Later on I knew and I was sure that there's life before 10-7 and life after 10-7, or as we say in Israel, 7-10, but we go with the American way. Anyway, 7th of October, it's the break line, it's the deadline, it's something that will make us understand that we've got our different lives, and we'll talk about it after what really made the change.
So tell me what happened next. So you locked yourself in the room. And then what did you hear? What?
Okay, I locked myself in the room. I think everyone's feelings were that it's a local attack and it will end in an hour, a couple of hours, by meaning that we annihilate everyone, and that was it, you know. But it kept going on, and I kept hearing all these thousands of rounds of gun shooting, automatic, single, and sometimes it was really close, sometimes it was far. It like moved from one area to another. That made me understand that it's not one class of terrorists, it's much more, because they're here, and they're there, and they're there, and they're there, and they could be everywhere. They were everywhere. Apparently afterwards, as we said before, there were a few hundred there. And I started texting, letting everyone, I opened the group, I said, please guys, please report what's happening. How are you? Where are you? What's your position? What's your situation? Are you locked? Are you safe? Unfortunately, I didn't bring any water or food inside. I didn't bring a bucket to pee. And afterwards, I couldn't resist, and I opened the door, and I listened to see if there's someone there, and even though I locked my door. And I had a pee. I got a bag of some candy. I got a bottle opener. I got a bottle of wine, and I got a bucket so I can pee. And I came back and locked my door. That was in the middle of the day. And it kept going, and rounds and rounds. And in the local text messaging, please come, we're burning, they're burning a house. We hear them, they're here. They're trying to break down my door, they're on the roof, they're shooting. Come, save us. Please save what's her name. She hasn't been in touch with anyone for the last hour. All the time. It's all there in the phone.
It must have felt like Armageddon.
It was Armageddon. And I thought, okay, it must end. The army surely will be here. We are on 4.5 k's from the border. Surely, little we knew that they just broke in with dozers and ran it with some pickup trucks. And it's a f***ing pickup army that's killing us, you know? And it just seems really dark, you know. And then people say there's no electricity, and then if there's no electricity, you can't charge your phone. If you can't charge your phone, you can't report where you are.
Danny described the final conversation he had with his older sister as her home came under attack.
12:09 midday, she rings me, and she's whispering. And she says, I hear them here in the house, and I can't close the door properly. And I'm trying to be biff and try to be really cool. And I said, okay, we'll whisper, and you try and hold the handle back towards you. And I keep encouraging her a little bit more. And then we say, okay, I'll cut down all the phone conversation so no one can hear us. And that was the end. I didn't hear anything from her afterwards, and neither her kids. And I presume 12:30 it was all over. In the group, we didn't really do much about it because we couldn't leave our places. I couldn't just go out and see how's my sister going, because there's shooting everywhere. It's really, as I said, Armageddon, end of the world. And we just wait for the army. Please come, army, you know. It's the strongest army in the Middle East, in the world, really, you know. It's the Israeli defense. And nothing happens. And they arrived, I think, around 3 p.m. Started 7 a.m. Apparently afterwards we understood that there were bombs all over the gate where the army was supposed to come in, and there were troops there that wanted to avoid them from coming in. And little we knew that so many kibbutzniks were killed already by then. And I'm still there. Dorit, the mother, is still got a little bit of power till about 4 or 5 afternoon or something like that. And then 3 o'clock, and then she said, we both don't have batteries anymore. So she went into silent mode. I was still on. Then just the hours go by and you keep hearing all the text messaging from the local net. And you say, what the f***? I can't do anything about it. You're locked in here. Everyone is locked. No one can do anything. And around 8:30 or so, I hear the army downstairs. I open and I see. And anyway, they come up to my stairs. I live on the second floor, which is another blessing because they had too much to do on the ground floor.
Plenty of targets.
So they never bothered going up second floor. So thanks again. Okay. And I open the door and they come in with a rifle right in front of me, just to make sure that I'm not a terrorist. And they cleared the house and they said, okay, come with us. And they didn't evacuate me yet. It was 8:30 p.m. They just moved me to another place, so it will be easy after for the evacuation that there won't be too many places to go. So there I went into a family with 4 kids, 2 parents and 1 grandfather in the same room as I was. No electricity, closed window, no aircon, and with a bucket full of pee from the last 10 hours. And there was no oxygen whatsoever.
Wow.
It was horrifying, really horrifying. Luckily they didn't shit in the bucket. Anyway, that went on for another
maybe
5-6 hours.
Yeah.
It went on like that. I'm sitting there, the kids are trying to sleep. The only thing I'm thinking of, let's get out of here, let's be evacuated.
Let's stay alive.
Let's stay alive. And they're still shooting and shooting. Eventually 2:30 I think they came and got us out and I could breathe again. And then another step of horror started because they're getting us all together about, I think we were about 20 or 25 people they gathered all over the place, kids, elderlies on wheelchairs, everything. And the special unit soldiers were around us. And they said, okay, walk, okay, stop, okay, walk, okay, stop. And all the time we got the background, there's fighting about 100, 200 meters behind us. Bullets all over the place. You hear you hear the rounds. I heard some grenades as well. Yeah.
This is the police fighting with the terrorists at this point.
The army.
The
army against the terrorists because there was
Special
terrorists
forces
all
of
over.
the army.
And we saw dead bodies on the road, but then they moved us around so the kids won't have to go through that. And eventually we got to the entrance to the kibbutz, which was all shattered. And then we saw hundreds and hundreds of troops there with cars, ambulances, armed cars, ambis, everything, you know. And
it's a beautiful community, right?
It is.
When you finally got out, what did it look like? Can you describe?
Everything's shattered. Everything's shattered. Everything was burnt. Houses were burnt. And I saw the fire from my window. It was about 2 houses from me. Everything's burnt. Afterwards, from the stories that people jumped from the second story with their kids. You know, there's some horrific and heroic stories all over the place which just keep coming out. But you walk on the footpath or on the road and you see all the shells from the guns. What you heard a few hours ago, that the gunfight was just underneath your window. And you think, okay, I'm safe now. I'm safe now.
Danny is now clinging on to his kids. There were times, he admits, where he didn't know if he would see them again, leaving voice messages from his safe room as his sister, friends and neighbours were slaughtered.
This is Dad talking to us. Still shooting. I'm in the safety place.
זה כל פעם עובר לוקיישן, זה היה בדרום מזרח של הקיבוץ, עבר מערבה ועכשיו זה צפון מערב ממני. זה כבר מעל שעתיים, לדעתי,
It's over 2 hours right now.
עד שלא יחזלשו, ייקח עוד הרבה, וואי, את שומעת היריות? עדיין ייקח זמן עד שיחזלשו לדעתי.
וואו. Do you want to translate it? Shall I translate it?
What were you saying in that?
I said a few things. I said that, listen, Chush, that's my nickname for her, Chush. Her name is Mika, but I called her Chush. Listen, Chush.
I have no nickname.
You're just Matoki, sweetie.
I'm the favorite.
I said, listen, Chush, you can hear the background, the battle still going, and it just moves from one area to another, what we talked about in the interview. It goes now to southeast or southwest, and it's moving northwise. And it was really, then you heard all the rounds that going, and it was really close. And I don't know why I wanted it to hear it. Maybe it was a mistake, but I just felt like, I don't know, maybe it was a mistake. I don't know. But as I say, it is what it is. I did it, and that's just one. There's probably about 10 of them like that.
Yeah.
At least 10.
And the gunshots just keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
Keep
The
going
rounds all over
for
the
hours.
place. The rounds all over
Hours.
the place. Every now and then you think about my sister. Where is she? She's been kidnapped. She's lying dead in her house. You do think about it. But
What ended up happening? I mean, what do you know about what happened to your sister? What have you been able to
that's a good
find
question,
out?
Ash, because I did ask the guy that told me officially that they found her body and identified it. And I said, the first question was, where was she found? It really intrigued me. Where was she found? Did she battle in her house? Did they drag her? Did they try and take her to Gaza? What? Where? And I still up to now don't know any answer to those questions. I presume in a few days, in a few weeks, I will get some answers, but I'm not holding my breath on it.
What was her spirit like? Was she the type of woman that you think would have sort of tried to fight? Or
She's sick. She's got asthma and all kinds of illnesses. She couldn't resist. She couldn't resist whatsoever. That's why I find it a little bit weird that she wasn't found in the house. So I thought, okay, maybe they left her and she escaped them and tried to hide in the bushes, trenches. I don't know.
because her body was found
Outside the house, but I don't know where. So my fantasy, vivid imagination takes me all kinds of places. But at one stage I thought, okay, I need to know. And the second I said, doesn't really matter, you know.
This is what is so horrifying about what they've done. You just said that she wouldn't have been able to resist.
Nah, not
so
whatsoever.
It was just so barbaric.
It was.
This isn't war. This is something else. It's just pure evil. I mean, targeting women and children and people who are defenseless.
Absolutely.
You know, it's out of the game's rules. It's out of it. You know, it's something you don't do.
Let's say if you
Old
have war,
women,
if you have
babies,
war, there's rules.
Kids. It's horrifying.
Someone said that my neighbor and his daughter had bullets in the head, both of them. And that fucking shows, you know.
They hang a baby with a rope outside of the door. I can't say it. It's
In Be'eri?
Yeah.
They hung a baby with the rope.
yeah.
That's
After
even something
they
I-
killed it.
That's
They
something
killed
I
it.
didn't know, really. Seriously, I didn't know that. I'm shocked. As much as I can be shocked, you know.
Every time you think you've heard a
Exactly,
terrible
exactly.
story that's
I
just
didn't want to say it until now, but I think it's really important to say it.
That's
As much
why
as
Ashley and
it's tough
Jimmy's,
to say.
That's why they're here.
That's what they do to us. They did to us in the last 3 days.
There
Yeah.
is no moment in history. What can you compare this to? It's
I'm afraid to say this word, but maybe the Holocaust or something.
Someone was comparing to Holocaust or to Babi Yar or to, I don't know.
They just killed us for who we are, for Jewish people live in Israel. That's the reason, the main reason they killed us. They killed all our loved ones just because they're Jewish and they live in Israel.
what do you want people to know about your aunt, and what do you want people to know about your sister?
She was a lovely woman, kind woman.
She loved us.
She loved us so much, and their kids.
She
And
was
we'll
my
be
sister.
strong. We
She-
will be strong for our kids and for our grandsons. This is our duty right now.
Yeah, she
To
left.
stay
She left
strong.
behind 3 kids and 1, 2, 3.
I can
4.
comfort for one thing that she saw her 3 kids get married and bring children to this world, and she saw her grandchildren.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they said this. They said everything. There's nothing more. I mean, she's my
Sorry.
sister. I grew up with her, and yeah.
What are your favorite memories?
My favorite memories. Wow. I think I have to go back. Wow. 55 years ago. Is that okay?
Showing your age now.
Yeah, I know. Not talking about my beard or my baldness. Anyway, we when we left Israel, Australia, 1968, to go to Israel, we took a cruise. My 2 parents, my sister and myself, and we launched in Sydney, went New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Fiji, all the way Hawaii, Panama Canal, all the way to Southampton. It was a 3 months cruise, and we had a good time. I was 7, she was 11, and we had a good time there on that cruise. All the sailors and the parties and all the, we crossed the equator, and there's always something happening when you cross the equator, and there was a party, and they said that some sailor fell aboard, and all these kind of wild stories,
What was your childhood like in Australia, and how did you end up in Israel together?
Wow.
It's a good question.
It's a very good question. Don't kill me if I won't be able to answer, Ash. But I went to first grade at Rose Bay. Rose Bay, yeah. I remember my teacher, everything. I remember living in Bondi. We lived in Bondi, Palm Street. Don't remember the number. I remember good memories. And we both didn't really understand why the fuck are they taking us to somewhere that it's Arabs and desert. What's Israel in 1968? It's nothing. It's 1 year after the 6 Day War. Which, by the way, lots of South Africans, Americans, English, Australians made the move to Israel. It was really the Zionist movement 1 year after the 6 Day War. It was a big victory, and everyone, all the Jews were proud, and all the Zionists made the move to Israel. So that was part of it. And I've got good memories from the kibbutz, really have. Yeah, I have a good memory. I decided to stop answering my folks in English because I wanted to learn Hebrew and I didn't want to be different. So very quickly I learned Hebrew. As you hear, my English isn't really well because I don't practice it so much. But but then afterwards I came back. I knew always Australia's home for me.
You're both obviously very so proud that you decided to get some tattoos to prove it.
Yay!
Kangaroo sign.
The kangaroos. We'll have to get you to show us properly because that is very impressive.
Yeah, it's their idea, by the way.
That is very
We
impressive.
thought it's very funny because we have these signs in Israel for camels and cows.
Yeah.
In Australia, we have the kangaroos, and we're like, okay.
Yeah.
It's the best.
It's their idea, and
It's
I
really good.
yeah, I love it. I love it. I
Out
love
of
it.
all the darkness in all of this, I mean, it's near impossible to find the silver lining at all. But what do you hope will come from this, if anything? And do you plan to rebuild?
Of course. No
rebuild this
doubts.
community, rebuild this.
No
kibbutz?
doubts about it. For me.
We're gonna win this. And we're gonna be strong.
I think we have to rebuild a home. Even though I'm planning of when I retire, of spending some time out of the year in Australia.
With us, please.
Of course. Of course, one-way ticket.
Are you thinking maybe Australia might be a nice place to retire
Well,
now?
I just got so many text messages today from my cousins. Cuz, one-way ticket, here. You know?
Please.
Get home.
Get home. We want you here. You want to be here, so come here. I was planning actually of going over for Christmas, New Year, back to Perth. The best time of the year to be there. But it won't happen now. It won't happen. It won't happen.
She was planning to go back in November.
She had a ticket already for November. Yeah, she had a ticket for November. She was really happy about it as well.
Yeah.
Where does it leave you all in terms of, I mean, you were living so close to Gaza. Where does it leave you now when you think about what's ahead of you? It feels like Israel has such a big fight ahead of it now, that this is really existential. I mean, what do you want Australia, what do you want the world to know about what's happening in Israel right now?
Okay, I'll start.
Yeah.
I think that the most of the Israeli citizens would like to have peace with our neighbors. I remember as a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old, we used to go take a car and go to the Gaza Strip for Saturday, go to the cane market, go have hummus, go to the beach. It was lovely. I want that again. That's what I want. I want us to have an open border or no border at all, that they can come in, no terrorism, no bomb attacks, no nothing. And we'll go and fill the economy with all what, go to the restaurants, buy their stuff, as it was 50 years ago, 40 years ago. 50,
There's an
60.
old saying that the Prime Minister of Israel said like 40 years ago, Golda.
Golda was during the Yom Kippur War.
Yeah, 40, 50 years ago, she said, when our enemies will put down their weapons, there will be no war. When Israel will put down the weapons, there will be no Israel. And I think it tells the whole story.
I'm not a lefty, but I raised my kids to love, really, not to hate. Even when we used to go to football matches, I said, cheer for your team, don't
curse
rubbish the other
yeah.
team. You know, that's the basic, I think. Cheer for your team. And he obeyed me ever since.
It feels like, we're now at this tipping point, though, where we have seen a level of evil. Hamas has shown exactly what they are capable of. So, where to from here?
Another good question, eh?
You don't know yet.
I've got absolutely no fucking idea, and you can take off the fucking when you edit the film. I think it's a question that nobody in his straight mind can even try and answer, because the differences are so deep now at the moment. You ask every Israeli what you want the Gaza Strip to be flattened now. All the civilians, kids, everyone die. Flattened, all the buildings flattened. Start over, move in dozers, clean the whole thing. Right? And we're not extremists. We're very central and...
We think they have a good people there until now.
Okay.
Now we know they don't.
But every Muhammad, every Hassan, does he want to kill us? I don't think so.
No.
But
No.
that's a problem. That's a problem. But if you ask really, I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it will solve anything. Something radical must happen. I haven't been watching what the Israeli Air Force did in the Gaza Strip, but I'm sure they flattened a few buildings. They threw a few 100 tons of bombs there. And I hope they'll keep doing it, but in order to get a result, in order to get the Hamas to surrender, in order to try and kick out the Hamas from the Gaza Strip, and we can't communicate or can't negotiate with a terrorist group, because their ethics are different than ours. And, you see everywhere in the world, free Palestine, Zionist occupation, blah, 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 in football matches or any riots or whatever. True, we are occupying the Gaza Strip, but it's just in order that we can live here. We don't need to be there. We don't want to be there. There's a problem in the Middle East, no doubt.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the Iranians up there, which
a whole nother...
they hold the puppets in the hand, absolutely, the Iranians. But that's a different kettle of fish altogether.
Yeah. I think you summed it up really well when you said that when you closed the door, there was the before and there's the after, and life will never be the same again.
No, not with 116 people that we have to bury, friends of ours, kids of ours,
In such a small community, you would have known every single one of them.
Absolutely.
Every single
I don't have to be friendly with him, but I know him, I know his son, I know his wife. And someone that you sat for a cup of coffee last week, or, you met on the street or in the shop or whatever. And it's not 6 or 8 people, it's 116 at the moment. I don't know.
Just from Be'eri.
Yeah, just from Be'eri. Yeah.
In the whole regional council?
Council.
There maybe
400-500
more. Yeah.
That's the 10% you're talking about before. That's the 10%.
Gone.
And they are celebrating our death.
Yeah.
They are celebrating.
Of course.
Yeah. The moment that you guys saw each other, tell me, what was that like?
It was pretty emotional.
He came to the hotel today, and I saw him at the lobby, and it was the second time I broke down. Yesterday I broke down with a guy, a friend of mine, that lost his own son, his wife's son, and wife, and 2 kids. So he lost 5 persons of his family. So I fell into his arms, and we cuddled, and we broke down. And today I broke down when Roy came. And tonight, after we left the hotel, I went to visit a friend of mine that got his leg chopped off from the knee, and he lost his wife and one of his sons. And it's just, you go from one disaster to another. And then you get here and you see Chushi and you break down again. And it was the 3rd time I broke down in the last 2 days. And still I'm trying to be as beef as I am. But I'm really a softie. I'm not really beef. I'm just putting on a show when I need to.
Like this,
What have the tears been for?
Don't know. Just came.
Maybe relief.
Just
as
came.
hard as
I don't know.
sounds to say, relief to see my dad. Like, I don't know.
Maybe the miracle that we're together.
I told you I just want to do this to feel him, to know that he's here and he's alive, to physically feel him.
Yeah. I said to them, guys, I can't wait till I sniff you. I wanted to sniff you.
Such a relief, right?
It is such a relief. It's a uniting after after something horrifying that could have ended differently. Easily could have ended differently. So easily. From what you heard in the last 30 minutes or whatever, it could have ended in any other way but this way.
Yeah.
There could have been so many scenarios.
And I'm sure it's just so many emotions all at once, because it's the relief, but then you've got so much grief that you've still got to work through. And
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
We don't even know what's coming.
No. And you don't know what's next.
No,
There's so much unknown.
The world should know that 9.2 million people will be scarred forever. After these few days, will be scarred forever.
True.
Kids, women,
for generations.
True.
It will change Israel.
Oh yeah,
Forever.
absolutely.
Forever.
Like it changed me, it changed them, it changed everyone. There's everyone in Israel that's got related or knows someone that's related to someone from Be'eri, Niroz, Kfar Aza, Sderot, or whatever. All the Otef Aza. And Israel is really a small community and really tight even though there's big differences political way, right and left.
Yeah.
This is the times when we come together.
Try to unite.
Yeah.
Being together, it's the only way we can get out of this disaster.